Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, and final preparations are being made for our grand journey to San Marino, after which we are going to visit Rome and try and explain ourselves to the Pope as to why one of our vassals sacrificed the Archbishop of Armagh. We can actually view the travel itinerary, and I have made ever so slight changes. So after we have journeyed to the court here for some learning lifestyle experience, we were initially coming up through this region and embarking here, and by customizing the route I have added, it's maybe a slight bit longer, but it keeps us out of the dangerous areas, and we will be travelling from Cherbourg across to the south of England. And you know what? We might very well meet our raiding armies if they're still there. When my caravan leader Lued approaches me with a mixture of shame and worry written all over his face, I know he bears bad news. I am sorry to report that we are running behind schedule by about 0 days. Lued, this is unacceptable. We could just look, if we're that late already, we might as well just not go. We'll try and hurry. Lued, this is unacceptable. A grand tournament, a fresh start. We shall represent the house of Enail, or the Enail, and make the Gaelic people proud. Hopefully the rest of San Marino won't be as rotten as King Theodoric. We haven't even met the man. He seems fine. Okay, well, maybe not. I suppose we must. So surely this journey to San Marino is a victory tour following the victory that we secured over Powys. We're being told something about our attempts to make friends with our wife. The romance scheme is currently paused, as we're not actually at home at the moment. While her numerous attempts to curry my favour have gone unnoticed, I cannot feel but irritated by my wife's interest in me. My wife is interested in me. My wife who I'm trying to romance. We could grow closer to forming a friendship with her, but we will gain some stress. Because we hate girls. They're icky. Now what I was pointing out was that we have won a war against... Now this entire region has actually changed and transformed, if I am correct. I'm not too sure what's after going on down here. This was the ruler that we actually won our victory against. But this region allied with them. Poor Owl. Oh, I think it's changed its name. It has indeed. But we've hit this region. My god, the amount of money we've taken out of this region. And you know what? We're going to take more. Na'i has decided to form a faction against us. Bless him, he doesn't have a lot of power. There's other things he should be worrying about, however, such as the fact that he is dying, stress level 2 and maimed. So he does have a couple of children that his few holdings will split between. So I was thinking about revoking some land and trying to form the earldom of Ulster, but this could actually be even more beneficial to us. We're going to see a further split in Connacht. I was just about to say that as our forces continue to raid through England, we have just made landfall. I have seen the world and beheld its many wonders. The furthest you've gone is the Faroe Islands. But never have I beheld such beauties as the one I've seen in the south of France. Truly, Basque women are a cut above all the rest. Do you know what? We only have the one wife. Absolutely. This is Fergus's victory parade. He feels on top of the world. He has seen off the greatest threat the Kingdom of Ireland has ever seen. We must marry at once. He has just landed in the south of France. The first woman he sees, he's marrying her. And actually, taking a look at it, her stats are better than our current wife. So 14 stewardship, 10 martial, 12 learning. And if we look at our current wife, she's really let herself go. Oh wait, no, that's Diarmid. Hold on. So 13 intrigue, 0 stewardship, and 10 martial, and not great learning. So it's entirely possible. I think we might wait until we get back home. But I might make Ansa our primary wife. Well now, that was fast. On our way through Pisa, we appear to have stumbled into a local food market. Everywhere, peasants and nobles of every culture and tongue clamour around exotic food stalls, the air thick with fragrances I never had imagined. This lad must be delighted with himself, because I forgot this is pretty much his first opportunity to show off his grasp of the Latin language, I think. I am the king and I want my pizza. There's a 10% chance that we will grow ill from the pizza. Absolutely. Come on, we're going to have pizza. So we could lose stress and gain a good meal, or we get a nauseating meal. I am the king and I want my pizza. Pisa is indeed my favourite pizza place. I have a feeling we've gone through this before. I have a feeling we had to try and knock a plant out of Skahuk's hands at one stage while we were on a pilgrimage. And she's after picking something up. First of all, she was the one that told us to try the pizza, so that was a great idea, and it worked out very well for us. So she's after picking something up off the ground. I don't know if she's abiding by the 5-second rule. We could tell her to stop putting everything in your mouth. Oh dear. Or, do you know what? Look, we took a gamble on the pizza and it served us well. We will let Skahuk eat whatever the hell this is. And we gained some learning lifestyle experience, so it can't have been too bad. I have arrived at the site of the tournament here in San Marino. Though not all the revellers have yet arrived, throngs of people wander through the colourful surroundings, all looking forward to the forthcoming displays of skill and prowess. There is no time to lose. I must begin preparing. I must be a victor at absolutely any cost. We weren't committed to digging in the fist the last time that we were at a tournament. And, well, we'd better not be committed to digging in the fist this time either, because it's a horse race. I can't wait for it to start. We're being told that we are only close to qualification, and thinking about it, considering that my father died on a horse, maybe we don't want to do the horse racing. Maybe this is too traumatic for us. Maybe we have shied away from horse riding. We don't have the best of skills in it. So we could spend, if we're only near to qualification, we could spend some time at the tourney grounds, or I think at the tent camps, sabotaging the other contestants or trying to improve our chances of succeeding. We're a bit short of money. Now, I am actually getting money back from the raids, but we're not going to have it back in time. So what I might do instead is visit the village and hopefully get some county control interactions, because county control throughout Ireland is quite low at the moment after a series of raids and rebellions. A visit to San Marino was exactly what I needed to relax before the contest. As I promenade through the streets, I see local children emulating a battle. I stop to admire one of the most prominent buildings, which proudly stands in the middle of the square. As I inspected a bit closer, however, I quickly noticed some ancient inscriptions. Is that Latin? So we could gain some prestige. We could actually gain a trinket which would give us monthly prestige, or we could increase the development progress in Tara by 20. I really would like that. But we're actually getting pretty hefty development increases. Well, not that hefty. We're getting some solid development increases at the moment from our scholar trait. And from a couple of other things that we're doing. So I think, do you know what? Look, you can never say no to a bit of theft. We're going to steal an ancient plaque, a sign with an ancient inscription. It seems to have been reused as a village wall. And not to forget, I will equip the ancient plaque. Race day is about to begin. We did indeed fail to get through. We didn't make it through the qualifying. We probably didn't even get up on a horse. We probably just broke down and started crying when we were brought to the stables. I have changed my intent to recreation. We don't exactly have a huge amount of stress, but you know what? We'll maybe try and get rid of it. I could have gone for recruit. Seek to improve the court with new and powerful knights, but you know what? We have a good chunk of knights at the moment, so We'll stay with recreation. I'm not too interested in any of the other stuff. So we do have a couple of bob on us, and we will see if we can place a bet. We'll always bet. We'll always bet, and we'll always lose money. We are told that the mayor of King Gundebald, the traitor of Burgundy, is a safe bet, but you know what? Go big or go home. We're going to bet on the underdog. We have an opportunity for a new learning lifestyle perk. We're going to go for open-minded, which doesn't do anything tremendous. Apostate isn't going to do anything great. Learn on the job will help us. That's not going to be great. And scholar. So a lot of this chain isn't tremendously necessary, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I want scholar for the dev growth bonus. We're seeing an army has been risen and is marching towards our raiders, but there's more important things. There's a horse fight. Is it a horse fight? Are they going to fight the horses off against each other, or do they all... Is it like a battle royale? It's almost impossible to tell who will take the victory. They are neck and neck. The crowd reaches a crescendo. The riders urge their steeds on in unison. The finish line looms. I wonder who's actually sponsoring the timing. Do they have like Rolex or something sponsoring the timing? Not far to go. So I'm wondering if these guys are coming towards us. They are indeed, by the looks of it. There you go. Horses. So, damn. So, well, damn it. We should have listened to the advice. Golf claps all round. Golf claps all round. So we lost a fiver. He gained 150 prestige and 130 quid. Boys, oh boys, there's money to be made in horse racing. He has gained champion racehorse. Increases travel speed. And then there was money for... Boys, there's good money in horse racing. If he is actually coming in against us, I'll see what our commander is like. I'd say we have a pretty good commander in place at the moment. The sun comes down on the final day of the tournament and the massed crowds begin to disperse. I find myself ruminating over the results. So we're looking through the form book, trying to predict who's going to be good in the next horse race. 600 prestige, 48 stress, so fair play to King Theodoric. And every participating Glory Hound vassal gained 10 opinion of them. And we gained... Did we gain Tournigor? I'm not too sure. I'm going to take it we did gain Tournigor. It's minus 5% stress gain. Buff. My gaze drifts over the crowd. The general hubbub flows around me. All spectators engaged in conversation are geeing up the contestants. All apart from one, I notice. Valens is staring directly at me. Our gazes lock before he immediately breaks eye contact, flitting his eyes around anywhere other than me. Normally, I'd be suspicious, but the bitten lip and constant stolen glances back to check if I'm still watching tells something of a different story in this case. Well, well, well. So, gains 50 opinion for 5 years, or we will lose some stress and charm resistance. So, personal scheme resistance. Do you know what? That's fairly handy. I'm here to watch the race that's just ended, not flirt. Tournament is over! So there we are, happy out, doing well for ourselves. Diarmid is just about staying standing. Fair play to him, he stayed at home this time. And now we're going to begin the real part of this tour as we head for Rome and we do a tour of some of the great courts of learning in Europe. So our daughter has gotten married to the King of Leinster to formalise that union. Now we can put these guys down fairly easily. Our problem, however, is that this is going to be weakening our armies, and Na'i, fair play to him, is still hanging on in Connacht somehow, so this could be making things easier for him to go to war with us or to enact his faction demands. At a distance, the city of Roma is a forest of towers and a maze of stone buildings. As we approach, the scenery shifts. Ruins of monuments, walls and ancient churches coexist with farms and grazing animals. Pilgrims seem to be everywhere, bartering, conversing and queuing to shrines and tombs of the city's saints. Mansions of forgotten aristocrats now serve as hostels for the faithful. My caravan leader, Lued, glances at me thoughtfully. My liege, we could spend some time here to study their customs. I spend time contemplating the nature of Christ, gain 100 piety, lose 55 stress, what little stress we had left. We have a 10% chance to gain contemplation. We have a chance to become a wise man and gain some trait experience in the wise man trait, or we could simply become well rested. And we have indeed gained the trait wise man and 75 trait experience in that. So we've actually already crossed level 1 and we're on the way to level 2. Now, while we were distracted with affairs in Rome, our army has been victorious. We can actually take a quick look at the battles. There's A. And who is of interest to us? There is Ned Freok. He's not putting into shabby a performance. They've a chunk of wounded knights. There's Doi still holding on. I've actually removed Doi, but he was raised and part of this army before I removed him, so I've actually lifted the requirement for him to be in the army at all times. So Doi's military career is over now that he is infirm, so hopefully he'll see it through to the end and get home safe and sound. An imposing man is standing on the road ahead of us. I am Hadrian of Palo. I have bested dozens of men in combat, and honestly, all those fights were dull, so here I am, on this road, looking for someone better than me, someone I can learn from. We could send our daughter to fight in our place. So this must be her honeymoon, because she's just after getting married. You might be less valuable after I win. 95% chance that we gain 75 prestige, that he joins our court, and that he joins the entourage. And we did indeed succeed. Sharp gusts and lingering squalls have kept the ship tipping and rolling for hours, and as I stand on the deck clutching firmly onto the mast, I see the chest carrying my ancient plaque has come loose. I'm too far to save it myself, but Lued is within reach. However, he would be at risk of falling overboard. So this is St. Brendan's toll, and what a toll St. Brendan is claiming. My beloved plaque. A 64% chance that he saves the plaque, 36% that he dies, and Lued has been a faithful and dedicated servant. And you know what? It is too much of a risk. We will spend some prestige, and we will see the ancient plaque sail over the edge of the ship and into the arms of St. Brendan and God. We've gained 200 learning lifestyle experience and gained 3 trait experience in Wanderer. And how are we going to explain this to our wife at home when we arrive, that we've taken a second wife and we have been away from home for so long that she's already had a child? So we met her about here, and the child has been born in the south of the south of Spain, the northeast of Spain. Now, I didn't want to call him Conal Crihin or Conal Crihina, and I was looking around for some names to give him. I was considering naming him after one of the rulers in this region where he was born, and I kept hammering on the insular name, and it's given me Patrick, and you know what? There's no better name than that. Our forces arrive back home with 87 gold and 87 prestige, and as we are travelling, we have a chance to study in martial. So a local captain and a few officers greet me as my entourage enter the military camps. I briefly observe the regiment grounds and then dismount. So we're told about the elite soldiers, and I nod, appreciating the organised chaos I am observing. Now, what would my lord want to do next? We could spend some money to recruit the captain, We have a prowess challenge, 88% chance of success, and we have a learning challenge, 87% chance of success. The reward in both cases is pretty much the same, 1 martial and 150 prestige here. Here we would just gain the martial, but if we fail this, we could become wounded. So I'm actually going to ask, what is that contraption? Now, following the return of our raiders, we're in a position to sponsor an inspiration, and here is one for a brooch. Her skill is legendary and renowned throughout the world, and unfortunately, I won't say unfortunately, it's pricey. 102 quid to make the brooch, and that's only the start of it. So I'm going to sponsor this inspiration and basically send the forces straight out to start raiding more areas. Oh dear God, our daughter has ran away in the middle of France. She's gone missing. I'm sure she's upset over the death of her mother a year ago. We could mount a search party. We will lose 15 gold, or we could try and find her ourselves. It'd be combined intrigue and prowess challenge against our daughter. God damn it, she's fairly good. She is fairly good prowess. But the intrigue is where she'd fall down, but not too much. We could gain the trait ill. Do you know what? I'll find her myself. And she rejoins the entourage and grows closer to forming a rivalry with us. I can hear my beneficiary, Sheila, muttering to herself from across the hall. So she wants to know what we should put on the brooch. And we will put on something that will gain us renown for the CK3 dynasty. So the leader of the Gaelic band of Thomond is fighting with our quartermaster. Come now, surely the two of you can make amends. We have a chance actually to gain some diplomacy lifestyle experience. Which we did indeed. During my travels, I've come to realize that some of the locals in this area value warriors above all else. Squabbles are settled with violence, and those who put their life on the line for the realm are considered the bravest. We should talk to them and learn more. Reduces the cost of establishing the warrior culture tradition by 1,000 prestige, or we will gain trained in warrior culture for 5 years, plus 1 martial, and plus 5 prowess. Do you know what? I'm going to take that one. Our daughter Dunla has come of age, and it looks like her studies in management have gone well. They grow up so fast. Across the channel we go, just as we are told that Na'i has died as a result of internal injury, so that's Connacht up in upheaval again. We have visited Stonehenge and gained some lifestyle learning experience while passing through the villages of Malmesbury. I spent some time talking to the locals. One thing that stands out is their intense loyalty to their liege. One villager talks with such passion that I think that they were describing a lover rather than a ruler. So I should talk to them and learn more. So the cost of establishing loyal subjects, loyal soldiers tradition, would decrease by 1,000. Or I will make my subjects equally loyal. So for 5 years, vassal opinion plus 10. Vassal levy base contributions plus 10%. Loyal vassals, thank you very much. And we are now snowbound. Snowbound at Stonehenge. It's been snowing for days. The roads ahead appear completely impassable. However, as I look ahead, I see a small group of people approaching us fast across the snowdrifts. Soon a man stands before me and speaks with a wide grin. He's gonna want money, isn't he? Now the thing is, you've caught us at a bad time. If we were travelling out and we were desperate to make it on time to the tournament, you would have leverage over us. At the moment you have no leverage. So, do you know what? We'll manage on our own. At the very worst, we're going to be delayed here for 14 days and gain just 4 trait experience in Seasoned Traveller. And that's exactly what happened. It seems that our caravan has become a little lost in these foreign lands. Luaid has been trailing us around for hours, and though he has at last swallowed his pride and asked for directions, he does not appear to be an expert Latin speaker. Did I mention, Luaid, that I am an expert Latin speaker? I've translated some texts. I've translated The Secret of Secrets. So we'll gain some prestige, and we will continue on our journey. We're not too far from home. There we are. We're just stuck there for a while. Now, I forgot about the fact that Na'i was our diplomat, or our chancellor, so we need to appoint a new one, and we do not have very good characters to pick from. However, by throwing our half-brother Cunla, our half-brothers, they're still around the place. By throwing our half-brother Cunla, the ruler of Athlone, in that position, it'll stop him from being angry. He's a powerful vassal, so we'll assign him, just in case anybody's wondering. I did check on the last episode, or after the last episode, where he'd gone to this fool. He's in the Inner Hebrides now, so he lost Mayo, and he's wandered away off to the Inner Hebrides in utter disgrace. This fool, this drunkard, he's actually had a son to continue the succession. I don't know if historically this would have been Coleman Moore. I think it might have been. So Coleman Moore, the descendants of Clon Coleman, descend from Coleman Moore, and then the Shieln Edo Sloine descend from another son of Diarmid's, if I am correct. But this fool, just in case things were looking bad, and if he hadn't produced a son, and with those bad traits, I could have always instituted tanistry to bring one of our 2 half-brothers into the kingship if it became necessary, but I don't think it will be. We arrive back with 24 gold, just as Fergus and his entourage arrives home after 594 days and 82 baronies, undoubtedly. Our greatest journey to date. I'll never forget when I visited the great city of Roma in my travels. Thank God I can go inside again. We've gained 11 trait experience in Wanderer, 2 in Horse. Fergus has just arrived back home, and already the offers are coming in for him to attend more tournaments. I think unfortunately we're going to have to skip this one, because we do need to get the money together. I was thinking about accepting it, but I actually stood down the army to prep for going on this tournament, and I could have brought some of the soldiers with me as members of the entourage, but you know what, I've decided that we won't go on this. We'll try and keep our money together. I might try and organise a hunt at some stage. We haven't done a hunt in quite a while, and we had a falcon at one stage. I don't know if that's still there somewhere inside this mess of traits and things that we have. But what I do really need to do is focus on this romance scheme to try and put a member of the Enail on the throne of the Outer Hebrides at some stage. So we're gonna hang around, because those schemes pause when that happens. I'll stand the army back up. I'm letting it kind of recuperate a small bit to go on another raiding expedition. But I think the first thing that I will have to do... So if we take a look, there is, 4 diplomacy is not great. 7 diplomacy isn't much better, but you know what? You can be my primary spouse. And having returned home with a new wife and a new child, Fergus will hold court for the first time in a while. Gesture for the first in line to approach. Oh God. Husband! Queen Selvla's voice is severe. I request that we launch an investigation about an infamous preacher in Tara. You see, this preacher is, well, she's a woman. This is not in accordance with our faith. Absolutely correct. This is not in line with Insular Christianity. Mormaer Cunla interjects by raising his hand and taking a step forward. Everything this preacher teaches is in accordance with our faith. It doesn't matter if everything that she preaches is in accordance with our faith. Women did not play a role in the hierarchy of Insular Christianity, no matter what. Total War, Thrones of Britannia says this is totally unacceptable. A preacher loved by the peasants. Development growth. We need more people to spread the word of God. An ancient figure approaches my throne with a click and a tap of his cane accompanying each step. My lord, I am a genealogist. And you are aware you are of noble origin. Yes, the bards, this is what the bards do. They recite poems and they create poems and stories which basically act as genealogical tracts. So yes, I do. However, noble is not quite the same as divine or mythical. No, it is. In Ireland it is. I desire to write a scroll that shall trace your complete lineage back to the dawn of... It's been done. For a mere few gold, I can reveal the truth to you and the world. You are a true descendant of the legendary founders of this... Well, yeah, everyone pretty much is. So we could gain 75 renown, or we could gain court grandeur and lose 15. Is he actually going to go and write a book, though? Because if not, I'll just take the renown for the CK3 dynasty. Nad Frioch and his wife approach cautiously, wary of the assembled court. So somebody in the court or in the kingdom is trying to harm his wife. I beg you, imprison Ned Frioch. What? My lord, I am sure someone in the kingdom is trying to harm my wife. I have no evidence but suspect Ned Frioch. I presume this is a different Ned Frioch. No, it's not. Given his reputation for villainy. Okay, so Ned Frioch has revealed to us that he is trying to kill his wife. I beg you, imprison me and put a stop to this madness. My God, this man is insane. So, Ned Frioch loses 20 opinion of us because he's angry that we put him in prison, but gains 10 opinion because he's grateful that we put him in prison. And his wife will gain 10 opinion. I will question Ned Frioch myself. Yes, we shall interrogate him. So there's a chance that we imprison him. Malice is not a crime in and of itself, so again, he's grateful that we helped him and disappointed that we didn't. Ned Frioch, get out of here. I'm sick of you. My business is done. Do you know what? I should have gone on that tournament. You people are idiots. I hate each and every single one of you. So we have refused to imprison the psychotic husband of Forvla, who is threatening to kill her and hoping that we imprison him before he does so. And now, my secondary wife, who we're trying to romance, wants her necklace. She wants her necklace, and Ned Frioch wants her neck. We could commission an identical one. Offer Forvla a favour. We'll imprison your husband if you give us the necklace. We'll just compliment Selvla's taste. I don't really know or care what's going on up in this region. It's basically an internal feud within the Connacht. They have obliterated each other's numbers. Some of the wars that Na'i started are still continuing. He started wars to try and take some land up in this region. High Chieftain Morcarthuk and one other of your champions entered the melee contest. Oh, it was a melee contest. I could have done with a fight. So my beneficiary Sheila insists that the funds I have supplied her are not enough to create the artifact. So whatever you need, you see, this is why it was a good idea that we did not go on this tour. Whatever you need, just make me a nice brooch. From what I can understand, there was a large conflict in this region, a battle for Inverness, or a war over Inverness, possibly. And that has ended, partially as a result of the capture of our son-in-law. Our wife, Selvla, wants us to guard her door. She's plagued by nightmares. We could try an intrigue challenge, 67% chance. Do you know what? We'll go with the you will sleep undisturbed. So it's an 85% chance that she will become well rested one way or another. We will gain sleep deprived. And she is indeed well rested and has gained opinion. You might see here in the bottom corner, disband all. That's because I am raising the armies to go on a new tour of Britain to get some money together, and it's a good thing because just as I was doing so, Sheila spotted some metal for the brooch. It's going to cost 50 quid. Now we do have a chance to get it for a fiver, however we might end up spending the 50 and 150 prestige. I think it's worth the risk. And we failed. There is close to nowhere to raid. We've pretty much raided down everything. However, we are making 1 gold and 7 per month, so we will be out of that debt soon. And the big hole in the ground that we have been dumping all that money into, finishing off King Fergus's brooch, that has been completed. It's an object wrapped in cloth, and as I lift the fabric, my eyes grow wide. An ornate brooch of masterful craftsmanship. It consists of a latten fastener adorned with small pieces of onyx. Prestige 0.26 per month. Spouse opinion and courtly vassal opinion. Interesting. The motto of the Enale family, never greedy, always loyal, is elegantly inscribed on one side. This is lovely. When Selvla invites me on a hunt, I do not hesitate to accept. And as we're stalking through the underbush, my page at my heel and my hound just ahead, then suddenly my concentration is shattered by a woman's scream. I'm coming for you, my love. And we can gain 10 opinion. We could just share a kiss. We will sleep with our wife and gain some prestige. Romance her. And now finally we have the ability to place King Fergus's brooch on our chest, where we used to wear an ancient plaque that then fell into the sea. So we're getting a nice chunk of prestige per month, which we do want to kind of maintain and keep up, because that's what is used to maintain the army. And we'll wander around here and try and get some money together to pay for the improvement to some relics if we are alive to do so. Fergus has become a prisoner in his own body. He is infirm. Oh Lord, my steward, High Chieftain Markarthuk, has exposed my wife's affair with Gilla Patrick. How could she do this to me? It's probably because of all those times she asked me for a necklace and I said, you've great taste, but no. So this is literally a political marriage. We have formed this in the hopes of having a son who will rule in the Outer Hebrides. Now, she does have a daughter that we could try and arrange a marriage to. I don't think it's going to go very well, because I've tried to organise a marriage between her to other members of the family, and so far it has failed. Make your choice. It's him or me. And this is maybe the one problem with the friendship route that we have gone down. Having lots of friends means that there are lots of opportunities for your heart to be broken. An interesting figure that's wandered around in the background, a member of House Dalgash. Blah. I did organise a matrilineal marriage for his only daughter. I don't think they've had a child yet, so that might be the end of Brian Brew's house before it even started. We gain 42 stress. Shock and horror in the court of Ireland. Queen Selvla, who I placed on the throne of the Outer Hebrides, she has rejected me and we stop being soulmates, you loathsome harlot. Here is Sylva's daughter, who will inherit the Outer Hebrides after her at the moment, and we could use our hook to... We don't even need to use the hook to force through a marriage. The problem is that the only candidates we have at the moment are our 1-year-old son. I think we have another 1-year-old son and 1-year-old grandson. So those are the only actual members of House Enail at the moment who are unmarried. So that's a bit of a problem. We have another learning lifestyle trait. Different faith opinion plus 15. Do you know what? That is actually a fairly good one to get. Here is a man that we haven't seen in quite a while. The man who we effectively learned Latin from by sending letters back and forth to him. I haven't had the opportunity to ask him for gold before this. He's refused on grounds that we had plenty of money, so now we have the option. We will lose 20 opinion, and his opinion isn't great. We could try and befriend him. I have enough friends at the moment. I'm over the 5 limit that the patriarch trait will give you benefits for, and of course he is 74, he is infirm, he is melancholic, so we might be getting more stress if we were to do that. And he's back to us within a few minutes, sending us a check. Praise Saint Columkill. Here comes that tax refund. Here is our daughter, Dunla. Here is Chieftain Arthcorp of Inishmaan. And here is his mother, who we enforced a peace treaty on at the end of that dramatic war. She didn't start it. I'm not too sure what actual power started the war in this region. I'm still a bit confused because there were a couple of changes. But you know what? It isn't a tremendous amount of forces. It's 726. But it's a solid alliance to form in this region. And so we will bury the axe and form some bit of an alliance. After everything we have been through together, I still cannot believe Queen Sylva would do the things she has done, do the people she has done. Everyone betray me. I'm fed up with this world. So we become rivals, and she is no longer our friend. Speaking of Sylva, here comes the dog dealer. My champion Aaron, an avid hunter, has brought me a man who sells fine hunting dags. I sell only the best hounds, already trained and ready to join any hunting team with no trouble. You will find none better anywhere in the Kingdom of Ireland. Before me is a line of leashed dogs of various sizes and builds, calmly sitting for my appraisal. And actually, just as we were talking about her father there recently, here is Aaron, and he is married, matrilineally, to Caitlin Mac Blah Dalgash. So this is the entire future of the Dalgash family. If we were to get a beast hound, it would give us some martial and prowess. I'm going to go instead for the scent hound. That's going to give me diplomacy and learning. Same level of prestige and a slight increase to hunt success chance. As I pet the dog on the head, she happily wags her tail. What name would suit her? Something historical? Something alluding to her black fur? It is an important decision, and as the dog rolls over to let me pet her stomach, I find myself distracted for a while. But wait, I know, I will name her. So we have the Hounds of Fionmachol. The easy name would be Bran, but Bran was a male, and Bran kind of translates as raven, but there was also a female dog, Skjolen. So that's the name we're going to name the dog. I think the dogs were white, so doesn't fit entirely. There's a couple of different spellings. I think this is a more modern spelling. but it's also a bit more understandable and a bit more pronounceable. So you'll see in the kind of the older spelling of this, there's a G at the end and things like that. So we will call the dog Skjolen. What a great name. Now, we've wandered in a rather awkward way. We've wandered in a very awkward way. King Fergus of Ireland has abandoned his mortal coil at 51 years of age. He died in his sleep, known for spending most of his time naming dogs. He was believed by many to be nothing more than a warlock, concocting unholy spells in the secrecy of his castle. King Diarmid stumbles, staggers drunkenly to the throne. A true sadist. Many fear for what the realm will turn into under his rule. This was utterly, totally, completely unexpected. I knew he was sick, I knew he was ill, I knew he was infirm. I didn't think that taking the dog out for a walk was going to kill him. All that time, I had to go and actually check up the spelling of Skjolen. And never even got to take it on a single hunt. I was going to call this episode to an end by promising that we would go on a hunt to get over the loss of our wife. Now look at the situation we find ourselves in. Attended 2 grand tournaments, a hunt and a grand wedding. Hosted a hunt and a grand tour, the first grand tour of Ireland. Fought 2 defensive and 1 offensive war. Finished patriarch, was making his way down towards that scholar trait. A devoted servant, so piety wasn't the greatest by him, but he was indeed quite famed, illustrious. He was the cultural head at the time of his death, and died in his sleep. So we have the titles, and of course, as we pretty much have... we have 2 sons, but we just have the 1 kingdom, the 1 chiefdom, and the 1 county. They all go to Diarmid. I know some people were saying that we should get more holdings. Nah. That man can barely hold his drink, never mind hold more holdings. And if we see the lineage, his father was distinguished and a devoted servant, so he's pretty much the same. And had only attended the 1 grand tournament, 2 pilgrimages. This lad did not go on any pilgrimages. I'm actually shocked by that. I thought maybe he had. And fought about the same amount of wars. Well, there you go. What choice do we have but to continue as King Diarmid and get this struggle for Britannia nonsense again? Our father's corpse isn't yet cold in the ground. The pint in front of me hasn't yet settled, and already our uncle, Connla, has created a faction to install himself as the King of Ireland. You can see there in the diplomacy section, we're not seeing a lot of allies. All of our alliances have fallen apart. We had a number, or our father, Fergus, had alliances with Diarmid's father-in-law for a period of time. Those alliances have now disintegrated, and these guys are not inclined to form new ones. So Diarmid must now basically go and from scratch form new alliances to protect the Kingdom of Ireland. In his latter years, Fergus negotiated a couple of alliances which could now be used against us, potentially. Our sisters, our many sisters, have been married out to various different rulers, and they may think in this time of weakness of taking advantage and possibly starting another Welsh or English or even Scottish-led war to seize the throne of Ireland from us. We will leave it there for today and start off fresh with Diarmid on the next episode. I'm delighted, at the very least, that Fergus got to see Rome. Thank you very much for joining me on this one, and I hope you'll join me on the next one, because there'll be pints. If there'll be nothing else, there'll be pints.